broadcast of In the Circle Ministries, where this is our YouTube virtual ministry where we take things and put them up under a microscope. We take our plural eyes and make them singular. And if we take our plural eyes and make them singular, then our body be full of light. And then once we have that light, excuse me, I had a bug fly on me. We once we put things up under that light, we can see things in the truth that they are. And then we can take that truth and apply it to our life and get the result that we desire. Uh, this is a pop in live, one that I warned about earlier on my channel to all my other subscribers and maybe those that will come in and watch the live stream. This crawl from up under a 84 Chevy truck changing out a transmission, dropping it. But I want to thank you for coming in whenever you do get in. Like I said, I know this is a surprise live, so um, those that do come in that are longtime subscribers, thank you for coming in. And those that are not, thank you for coming in. And those that will watch it later on, thank you as well. But the name of the title um, for this live pop up live is my benefits of having a better diet. And what brought about the better diet is a different mind change, and I had a different mindset. And um, in my self mastery and my spiritual growth, there were certain things I didn't desire no more. Um, I don't eat meat no more. I eat vegetables and fruits. When I say I don't eat meat no more, I mean I don't eat it on a constant level. And maybe 1, 2, 3 months, have went 6 months without eating it, and then desire to have a piece of fish or do whatever. But if I do decide to eat meat, it is what it is. But it's not on a constant basis. So I want to talk about the benefit of that, and in my spiritual growth and my journey, and the process that brought me to it, in a sense. So here on our channel, we talk a lot. I talk a lot about my self mastery. Don't self mastery for those that may catch up with the video today and haven't watched any other videos before. Self mastery is allowing that thing that is you, the inner you, the thoughts and the conversations and the consciousness that you've had since you remember being into this world, that have you questioning your parents or questioning, period, certain things. Some would call it the imagination. But being at a place where you understand that part about you is the all eternal. That part about you is the God that you're seeking. That part about you is the things that we know that we would say in a physical sense. That reason why I say physical is because something we can set our eyes on, that are some would call the universal laws that are infutable and that are there. These are the things that are the best that we can have, or that I know that I describe to have as the infinite. Me being finite in the flesh, in the fleshly consciousness or the lower vibration, cannot describe the higher vibration. It cannot give you or put in words a description for the infinite, if that makes sense. In the Bible, it also speaks of how we won't be able to describe God. His ways are above our ways, and his thoughts are above our thoughts, and things of that nature. But the universal things that are there, the sun, the moon, the stars, the constellations, and the new stars that we're finding, and the new planets, and all these other things, and other planets and celestial beings that are there that we can see and watch and observe. Those things are a part of the eternal now that we are all a part of. The same essence of that is what we are, from my understanding. So also when we talk about universal laws, is the laws of vibration, the laws of rhythm, the laws of polarity, the laws of rhythm. I think there's 7 universal laws. Not sure if there's not more, but there's 7 main ones. Um, Also, as the Kabbalah speaks of, the whole everything that we know that's in existence is mental. The universe is mental. Everything comes from thought. So God being power, God being energy, energy being a power, or God being energy, as being this source of power. Energy being something that cannot be created or something that cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred or moved around, but it can't be getting rid of. So in today's time, we in older times too was also described as spirit. So that's nice right here. But anyway, sorry about that. Um, so those things are infutable, and we also have things that we do, and we'll be describing later on in the keys to unlocking the Bible. Some of the good things is like Christ would say, "So as a man thinketh, so is he." You know and the laws of attraction, and a lot of things that will be spoken by Christ all through the rest of the New Testament, and some of the things spoken in the Old Testament that are good attributes of law of the universal laws that will bring about a result. But saying that we are part of that source, that is God to me. So the God of the Bible, the God of the Enumilish, the God of the Quran, or any other God that we have written down, um, isn't that God. But there's other things and teachings and other thoughts and earlier thoughts and concepts and teachings that I believe help describe more in detail what I'm talking about, like Lao Tzu and Hermes three trices or Hermes three twices, something like that. Hermes three times, Hermes, um, and a couple more other things of the Kabbalah, even though it's written younger than the rest of those things, but um, things of that nature, and it speaks about God and understanding in that nature, but not a physical being that we can read about and hear about. But anyway, that concept of that God and that spiritual being, or the inward being, or the thing that we are mostly consuming of in the inward person, is thought. Everything else is physical. Everything else inside of us is thought. Whether we act upon that thought in our physical body or act upon that thought in our mind with a word or action or reaction, but we are that thought. We are that energy source that whenever this body returns back to the earthly realm or the physical realm from which it comes to, then that spiritual essence that we are, we return back to something in that spiritual nature. Not trying to get too deep because this isn't what this is about, but we're going to get to the diet. But um, that spiritual essence that we are, that spiritual energy that cannot be destroyed, that only can be transferred through the avatars or through the bodies, we allow it to master us. Lower consciousness, meaning that we're able to live beyond the carnal mind or the lower vibrational mind, which deals with emotions, feelings, hunger, thirst, things of that nature. But when we deal with more of a higher vibrational thing, it's more unison, and it's more about the not sustaining life, but a sustained life. Don't know if that makes sense, but being more from a place of already existence and always going to be existence, and not in a temporary form. Staying in the eternal now is what I'm saying. Being able to live in the what I would and it have been described as the eternal now. That yesterday doesn't exist and tomorrow never comes. Only thing we have is today. Only thing we have is the right now. What are you going to do right now to do about anything that you're dealing with right now? What situations or what thoughts do you have, and what decision do you have to make with those thoughts right now? No matter if they're like at this present time and hour, but whatever it may be, to what you're going to wear, to what you're going to do, if you got a job, if you got a routine, if you don't, or whatever it do, or whatever you do, you're gonna have a decision to make. Thought. That's who and what we are. So allowing that to master us, we becoming more of it instead of trying to master the physical, which is temporal, and which cannot be mastered. Um, so in a sense, in a small way to understand this, on another way to understand this, Paul speaks about his crow showing out that the tongue, what that no man can tame the tongue. It's like a fire. So that thing can't be satisfied, and you're not never gonna get to the place where Be comfortable with it. No matter how long you live, you're gonna want to continue to do more and more and grow and grow. But anyway, and my self mastery and working and growing into that, there was the meats and the certain things that I would eat. And there were certain vegetables I didn't eat because of the way of my tradition and my raising. There's still certain things that I eat that I still love. It's just that I don't have most of the adjective as far as the bacon grease and the fatback grease or the ham hock. Um, certain beans I eat, and certain beans I don't eat. Certain grains I don't eat now. Um, I Dr. Sebi and other people have described them or said called them like vegetables and fruits that actually have electrical properties that you can eat and that energize you, that isn't dead flesh or dead things, and learning more to eat more of raw fruit and vegetables and not cooked in a sense. So we're not cooked in a sense, but that's not cooked. So those are the things also I'm working on. But eating the raw vegetables, the fruits has been no problem, but the raw vegetables. But the meats that I had started eating, I've talked about in other videos, we've always raised our own livestock. We always went fishing, so we always cleaned it, gutted, feathered, or whatever we had to do to process our own livestock and our own meat, from rabbit to squirrel. I never ate raccoon when I was older, but my granddad did, and I did when I was younger. He fed it to us. Never ate possum, but have ate what they call cooter or big old turtles. But anyway, processing those meats, and once you actually kill an animal or have an animal killed, and you ever smelled it while you're processing, it's a different smell. It's totally different from when you're eating it. Um, so that peculiar odor, that peculiar smell, and those things of that nature, um, I could smell those things once I've already prepared or whenever it was prepared, even if I didn't do it or somebody else done it. If my chicken wings were cooked already and served to me at the restaurant, at the steak, I had been laid off the pork for a while anyway. Fatback was the only other thing I was still dabbling with. But the meat would still smell fresh and as if it was just processed or in the process of being processed after it was prepared and it was time to eat it. And so those things started to happen, and it was my mindset and my growth of my inward person and my self mastery. And that's not nothing to say towards anyone else. I'm just saying there's certain convictions that comes with you and your growth. As we talked about in other live streams and videos I've done about um, change, your mindset. Change is the doorway to growth. You're gonna have, as you grow and you don't see things, when you see things differently or things are revealed to you differently or you can understand things differently, even the same things that you would look at normally, you see them differently. And this is what we talk about, taking things and putting them under the microscope and then being able to look at those things and that truth. And once you see those things differently, you try those thoughts or you try those things that you see differently now, see what results you get and judge it righteously. Take the answer for what it is and not what you would like it would to be. So those things changed my diet. So the benefit of that also as well is that I do have more energy. I see a whole lot more clearer. And at the point there was eczema and psoriasis, not sure which one, but I was having those issues with my body about 2 years back. So the process and the experiment I've also do in my body, and I tell you more about the experiment that I do in my own body. Um, been going on now for like the last 2 years. But it had got bad when it got hot about 2 years ago. Whenever I first started having this issue, a reoccurring issue, we're having eczema to break out in my face, or the psoriasis to break out in hives and itchy hives in my face, my neck. They call them hot points. Elbows, my stomach, where my stomach folds at, where my abs are at, where like I don't know if you call them the second or the fourth, the first two and the second two. And for other people it'd be worse as well. But started having bad itching, heat would trigger it, and so I started to change my work environment. Quit working at the auto shop I was working at, helping my uncle. Started back doing work in the inside world, control climates. Started trying not to eat and reading everything I could and Googling everything I could about not eating wheat, barley, and all these other grains, which I do understand that most of those were made for livestock and it wasn't made for the consumption because they're not electrical. They're even those certain grains, wheats, barleys, and a bunch more other things, soy, they're not electrical. They don't give you electrifying, they're not recharging food, so we should be eating to recharge the physical. It should be giving energy back to the physical, charging the battery outside of the sun and grounding. But the food that we consume should be doing that to be nourishment for the body. The body get rid of all things that are waste by itself, but the way that our body works is it consumes, or we should be consuming all things good, and the body knows how to extract the good and to get rid of the waste and get rid of all the byproducts that are no good for it. But anyway, um, so in that process, I found out about all those hot spots are the same place your lymphatic system is, and started eating more vegetables and things of that nature. Even cut back on the beer intake that I had. That's another thing. My liquid intake. My liquid intake. Most people liquid intake is 75%. 20% of mine was beer. 20% was tea. The other 20% was soda. The other out of the other 10% that was left, or the 15, 10 of it was coffee, and the other 5 was water. So even whenever I did have water, I had other things in it, coffee or tea or alcohol or something else. And so that also messes with your system, and that also messes with my body, and that also messes with your lymphatic system, and it causes excess mucus, and excess mucus is what causes psoriasis or causes the eczema or condition that was I was dealing with, and the mucus trying to come out of my skin at those hot points. But cutting out the meat was one good plus. Um, and introducing and finding out more seeded grapes and introducing more fruits into my diet by way of juicing and eating randomly and snacking on the fruits and eating the vegetables for like dinner or whenever I did, because I always eat light. And you have to excuse me if it gets too much darker. I'm gonna go try to cut on the light while I do the live. See, it's getting darker outside too, so I don't know how well that'll help. And if it does, I come sit on the front porch. But those things helped out tremendously, and I seen the results in my body in several weeks. Um, First couple of weeks, I was able to see that the itching had stopped, and the rashes had stopped, and that it had cleared up real good. But it did flare back up, even though I had stopped the alcohol drinking and being self-disciplined in my self-mastery to know, when there's certain things in my body, I'm not going to continue to jack my body up by putting something in it. That was another thing that helped me come off of the crack and the cocaine and all those other things. It was more, not that it got life-threatening, nothing like that, because in the midst of my addiction, I would say it was 7 years later after I had OD'd twice before I had quit. So that wasn't the issue. But knowing that that wasn't something I could continue to do and be who I wanted to be, I can't do. So I didn't like itching much. So I took the things and changed the diet. Was able over time to introduce back the bread and the wheat and all the other things and the fiber and stuff they tell you naturally to stop introducing it to your body if you want to not trigger and not have these issues. And was able to see that some of that stuff wasn't true. But my mindset was the biggest thing. As long as I was believing that those was the issues, if I ate a piece of bread, I break back out. I cut back sugar too. Started eating honey. I had dropped from the white sugar to the brown sugar to the cane sugar to no sugar, and just using honey, and didn't drink no sodas. Dropped the tea, dropped the coffee, dropped the alcohol, just the juices in the water, and still had those issues to come back up. So mindset's number one. Mindset is number one. And in my process, my mindset got right to where I'm at now. And the last experiment I did, I could actually tell you now that it's mindset. But to those that can't deal with the mindset or go through with them, I can tell you that these physical things did physically work. So cutting back on the meat, quitting the meat, the juices, watermelon and cucumbers, seeded grapes, apples and oranges are great too, and cucumbers, as I said, things of that nature, and juicing like that. And mainly the seeded grapes. And when you can snack, eat on the seeded grapes. For someone dealing with eczema or psoriasis, this will help as well. And that's some of the benefits of it. Um, so I tried some more meat, or I ain't gonna say I ate some more meat and seen how it reacted with my body. Um, and I seen that it did try to flare up, but once I seen it flare up, I didn't like it. And even though I only ate meat for like 3 days consistency, it was like and fish and a few pieces of chicken one time. But those things, it didn't take long for it to clear back up, and I continued with my juices. And one time before, I also cut back on the juices and thought that it was the reason why it was flaring up. And I also drank more alcohol, pick up the alcohol intake, um, and the coffee and the sodas I still didn't pick back up. So, but doing those three things in different ways, like whenever I was doing the alcohol for those 3 weeks to a month, I wasn't, still wasn't eating the meat. So whenever I did eat the meat, I wasn't doing the alcohol, And so when I quit juicing, I wasn't doing one of the other three. But mental part, that my mindset and my spiritual growth and my growth of my inward man has been the most powerful medicine that I've taken. Knowing and seeing and believing that I was in perfect health, and that all those things wasn't an issue, and they were just all circumstances of my mind first, and then the things that I put into my body. And even if those things that I put into my body, that they couldn't poison or harm me to the point where I'm at now. But that doesn't mean I still care about eating meat, or I'm going to go back to eat meat, or go to consuming a bunch of alcohol, or none of those other things that may bring back up, or that caused those issues before. You need to go through the experiment to find out. But the benefit of eating better and doing those things is what the video was about. So my physical health, psoriasis or the eczema, was able to clear and was able to go away. Um, and like I said, having more energy and being able to see clear and being able to think clear, um, was another benefit as well. But the mental freedom and the things that it brings is the most benefit that it was to me for that. And as I go through more in this journey and talk about it more, and like we do on this channel, one of our next episode of our broadcast may allow us to bring up the subject or get deeper into it, we'll talk about it as well. Because I'm big on, growing my own vegetables, being that way, being self-sufficient. The only thing I don't have now is solar and a well, but growing all the vegetables and all the things that you need, being able to can it, preserve it. Um, didn't do a video on it. I thought about doing it, but now it's muscadine season where we're at, so making my homemade wine and having my wine to put up for the summer and the winter and the spring, and being able to have more to have abundantly, very cheap. Also making compost and making your own fertilizer and things you need, or making your own earth just to watch the watch the beauty of planting one seed and being able to get um, bountiful, plentiful harvest of it reoccurrently without no more effort on my part besides planting it, allowing the water to happen, or if I have to entrap rainwater and water it, but allowing it just to do what it do and to yield to me all the profit that I need for me and my family. So I want to thank those that came on tonight. Thank those that will come watch it later on. I want to say peace, love, and prosperity to you. Also, I didn't have it in the description because I did it off my phone. This was a spare moment thing. Go back and watch my last video, or catch the videos previous that be coming this Wednesday. I have more things in the descriptions talking about businesses and that we have, and some of the services we offer, and some of the products we offer here in our educational department as well. But thank you for coming out. Thank you for spending your time and your energy and checking out and seeing what we had to talk about here on the channel. Hope that it helped you in some type, way, form, or fashion. And if it does, please don't mind leaving your comments. And to those that are new or that may come through, like, subscribe, hit the notification, and come back and see what we have going on. Every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we do have a broadcast, and if there are anything else that be going on that maybe pop up like this, and I try to give better notification prior to, but you can catch us live every Wednesday, and anything you want to talk about that we have going on, as I said before, we may be able to talk about them. We don't have to be stuck to the subject at the matter at hand, or we can add it in, or we can get to whatever it is that you may want to talk about or discuss. But thank you for coming out. Um, until next time, peace, love, and prosperity to everyone.